Assalamualaikum and hi everybody. We're from CE1 Team 6 and today we will be presenting our research study titled The Comparison Between Classroom Learning and E-Learning Among UTP CE Undergraduate. But before that, first thing first, I would like to tell you how this presentation will go. This presentation will be presented by chapter. The first chapter is the study background, next is the literature review, third is research methodology, fourth is the result and discussion, last chapter will be the conclusion and recommendation.
For introduction, we are conducting a research on the comparison between the classroom learning and e-learning methods towards chemical engineering undergraduate students in UTP. COVID-19 affected the normal way of learning. Thus, there are three aspects that we are going to make a research for comparing the e-learning and classroom learning. The first one is student grade achievement, the second one is the study platform, and the third one is the study environment. So at last, we are able to improve the e-learning method in various ways from the research findings.
There are four objectives of this research. Firstly, to determine the more effective method of learning between classroom learning and e-learning. Second objective is to prove that UTP Chemical Engineering undergraduate students is the group that favor classroom learning. Third objective is to evaluate the best study method that will result in higher grade. And lastly, to find the best platform for study purposes.
After gathering the first base information through observation, a set of hypotheses were proposed before executing the study. The first hypothesis is that the classroom learning is more effective for CE UTP undergraduate compared to e-learning. Next hypothesis is that UTP CE undergraduate is more favorable to classroom learning compared to e-learning. The third hypothesis is that classroom learning will result to higher grade compared to e-learning. And lastly, study environment for classroom learning is better than e-learning. All these hypotheses will assume as correct until the research can prove it wrong.
I'm going to present about significance of the study about our research. First, our research is important for students to plan their best strategies to increase their achievement and development to their maximum potential. They need to know what is the best study platform for them, whether classroom learning or e-learning. Second, our research gives a big contribution to our own university. Since pandemic COVID-19 in Malaysia, UTP students face a lot of difficulties during their virtual learning at home. Therefore, our research is essential for them so they can justify and differ about goods and bad between classroom learning and e-learning. Third, from our reference, we can see that most of the past research were focusing on general courses. Our research is focusing specifically on chemical engineering courses which are more significant and relevant to our own course and batch. Plus, we also can refer from past research that can help us to reach better and more reliable outcome of our research. The purpose of our literature review is to gain understanding about existing research that is relevant to our area of study, which is about quality education, classroom learning, and e-learning. For quality education, from European Commission in 2020, it said that Sustainable Development Goal for 6 of accessible and quality education to increase number of younger generation that have more skill for employment, business, and decent jobs. This shows that students need to find their maximum potential by choosing the suitable study method for them. From e-learning perspective, Thomson in 2010 said that universities should maximize the advantage of online environment so students can gain maximum benefit from it. This statement is related to Jaroslav and Ilona in 2020 that believe e-learning can give a huge impact to the academic progress for both lecturers and students. For classroom learning, Chen and Wang in 2005 said that traditional classrooms do not stimulate the sense or the intellect and instead inspire memorization learning only. However, Paul and Jefferson in 2019 agreed that classroom learning has numerous benefits that cannot be found in e-learning. From our literature review, we can say that both e-learning and classroom learning have their pros and cons. It is up for the student to choose their convenience method that can match their best style of study.
The study employed a quantitative research design. The respondents are chemical engineering undergraduate students in UTP. An online questionnaire using Google Form was answered by a total of 49 respondents. The questions in the survey are organized in the form of a 5 points Likert, and there are also yes, no, and maybe questions. The questionnaire is generally divided into 5 sections, which are demographic, classroom learning effectiveness, favorability of students, academic performance, and study environment. The data is collected using convenience and purposive sampling method and is analyzed using descriptive analysis.
Sampling, our group chose non-probability sampling method which involve the combination of convenience and purposive sample. The convenience sample is categorized by respondents' year of study, which are first, second, third and fourth year of UTP students. The purposive sample is categorized by students from chemical engineering background, which is related to our purpose of research.
Due to COVID-19 pandemic, this research was fully dependent on online interaction for data collection. So by that, we're using a Google form as our research instrument, which consists of 11 questions segregated into 4 sections, which correspond to our 4 research questions. This Google form is later being placed on several social media such as Facebook, Twitter and WhatsApp to gain about 50 respondents.
So for the data analysis methods, there are two ways that we are going to run, which is the descriptive analysis, which is we are transferring the data from the respondents into a more presentable forms. And the second one is the summary evaluation table, which is we are going to compare the outcome from all aspects asked in the survey and also make a final conclusion. Next, for the data collection, there are three ways. The first one, quantitative methods, so easier for us to analyze. The second one is the Google Form survey, so we divide by each section and also we provide the description. And the third one is the data validation, which is we are only allow the CE student to answer the survey.
For the first session, which is trying to test a hypothesis 1, which is classroom learning is generally more effective compared to e-learning for UTP CE undergraduate. The result for the first question shows that the majority agrees that the classroom learning method providing better and sufficient understanding in any lesson by 60%. There are several factors that may lead to this result, which will be detailed in the following question, including comfortability of study, study environment, and direct interaction. Next, for the second question to test hypothesis 1, the question is asking for the effect of direct interaction during classroom learning towards better understanding, and 80% of the respondents say yes to this statement. This is because in the classroom learning, students can ask directly, while direct eye contact and suitable body language can ease the learning process. Next reason is that in the e-learning, students can only ask in the chat box or through mic, which some of the crucial information may lose in the online interaction.
Next, for the second hypothesis, UTP Chemical Engineering undergraduate students is more favorable towards classroom learning compared to e-learning. The first question we are asking, and majority of the student is disagree that e-learning is compatible for student that taking chemical engineering, which is lots of factors considered, lots of technical things to do, the course is hard, and also too many chapter needs to be covered. The second question, 77.8% of respondents agree with this statement, which is classroom learning will provide better understanding towards the students. Maybe it is because the e-learning solely we can only learn the theories, but classroom learning we can have theories and also practical in the lab. And the last one, the question is asking about the physical lab or virtual lab is better, and 95.6% agree that physical lab is better because it will have proper guidance from labs demonstrator and we can also have state-of-art facilities.
For the third hypothesis, there are three questions. First question is, did you score better in classroom learning compared to e-learning? 60% of respondents voted for yes, while 15.6% voted no, and 24.4% voted maybe. This shows that majority of students excel during classroom learning than during e-learning class. This result is like that because students are more focused in the classroom and they did sufficient revision, but not during e-learning. For the next questions, most of the students choose yes for getting a better consultation for the coursework mark performance during classroom learning compared to virtual consultation. The factors that lead to the results are contact with lecturers and instructors and immediate response from lecturers. For these questions, majority of respondents prefer hands-on assessment rather than online assignment, while the rest voted no, maybe, and remain neutral, because hands-on assessment is more instructive and convective.
For hypothesis 4, which is about the best study method for CE undergraduates, the first question is about does study platform for classroom learning is better than e-learning. 76% of respondents agree with this statement. This is possibly because of classroom learning platform have more physical facilities such as lab, workshop, and library. Students can have hands-on real-world experience from these facilities. Next question is about, does e-learning provide better study space for students? Majority of respondents disagree with this statement. Although virtual learning provides unlimited sources through internet, but students still face many problems such as lack of internet connection. Last question is about, should UTP improve their classroom learning platform? 86% of respondents agree about this question. For example, problems like lack of computers in computer labs had always been an issue in UTP. UTP should take initiative to fix this problem.
Based on the data analysis, we found that all hypotheses are accepted. We can conclude that classroom learning is more effective compared to e-learning for UTP chemical engineering undergraduate students.
There are three recommendations that we can get from this research. The first one is offline assessment. We can gather students for offline assessment following the SOP. The second one is the consultation hour. Maybe the lecturer need to do the consultation hour with the problematic student to give focused guidance. And the last one is the free SIM card internet toward all students to give better internet connection to students.